fight fans, one of the champions that New York has given to us, Alicia Napoleon. How's everything, champ? I'm glad to see you, at least over the video. How's everything?
Everything is good. A lot of changes during this past year, but all for the best, all for the good.
I know. First thing first, congrats. You are a mom already. The baby's coming soon. Tell us, this great news. I mean, hey, how does it work for you now? Being a professional boxer, you have to take care of your baby. Tell us.
Well, the baby was planned because when the pandemic hit, in March and everything was shut down, I was in correspondence with my team, constantly in touch with my promoter, my manager, and my coaches. What's the next move? What are we doing? Is this pandemic going to last? All of us thought that it wasn't going to last so long, and it was going to be over within a couple of months, and we'd be back, maybe June, July, or whatever. But that wasn't the case. So as we got closer, March, April, May, May, June, my promoter said, you know what, Alicia, this year is going to be a wash. I don't think that you're going to be active for the rest of the year. You'll be lucky if we can get you active in the beginning of 2021. It's not a promise. So we just have to wait and be patient and accept that 2020, there's going to be no action. So hearing that, I said, okay, I really want a family, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to get pregnant. God willing, I get pregnant right away, and it doesn't take me, months or years of trying. And I can just relax during this pandemic while this season is basically an off season for most of us fighters right now because nothing is happening in the fight game during COVID. And that's exactly what happened. We tried in June right away. We got pregnant in June, and basically the entire pandemic, I was able to rest, relax during my pregnancy, and take on this new role as a mother. And boxing is still not where it needs to be because of COVID right now. So I don't feel like I've missed anything. I wasn't able to train in the gym anyway because of the virus. The gyms have been shut down. A lot of teammates have left. They've moved to different states. It's not the same in the gym yet. There's no sparring going on. So I feel like I made a very smart, wise life decision.
Yeah.
I didn't lose anything. If anything, I regained because now I'm going to be a mother. And about time I get back in shape and ready to fight, I feel like the fight will be picking up and probably at its rapid pace like it was previous virus. So I'm so excited. I'm so ecstatic for this new journey as motherhood and then to become a champion again with my daughter by my side.
Hey, I bet you that the baby that it's coming soon is gonna be one of the champions too. I mean, look at the mom. She's always at the gym, working out, doing what she does the best, and she loves the best. Very disciplined, because I've been there. I seen you how hard you work. Hey, I bet you that is coming up a baby as a champion too. I mean, already.
Well, I hope that whatever she decides to do, that she will be a champion, and whatever she decides to do, whether she wants to box or become a whole another end of the spectrum profession. But I will instill in her discipline and hard work and that don't quit mentality and sacrifice and of course incorporate some fun in those moments too because she needed the balance. But it is important to me to have my daughter by my side, see me train with me when she's a little older. I would have started young when she's like 4 or 5 years old, maybe even before that. I will teach her how to box. If she wants to take to it, more the merrier. But most importantly, I really want to instill some great foundational values and morals and ethics of sacrifice and discipline and hard work in my daughter and faith. How she needs to be faithful on all that she does and just let God be the footsteps.
Yes, I'm glad that you are a role model for your baby, especially because you know that this discipline, and of course that's gonna be great when you start teaching her, and of course self-defense, because hey, I mean, I'm not saying New York is dangerous, but she can knows how to defend herself, and I love to see women's going into this sport, or sometimes in any other different discipline, because we can see the machismo is already, out there, because you ladies are breaking it, going through this, because eventually in the past we didn't have female boxers, but now everything has changed. And I see great fights from all the female fighters. My all due respect for all of you, because every time I be in an scenario watching of women's boxing, people get up, from their seat and starting like going and cheering, and I get excited. And one thing that, eventually we don't see it from women's boxing, and I seen that, and I try to raise my voice, because especially all of you deserve that. All of you needs to be more value. Is the payday, is the check, is however or whatever you want to call it. I always tell, the ladies, that all the ladies don't get paid as men does. Like an example, Canelo Alvarez, like how much money he earns, and if he, let's say there's a female fight in between this TV show or the fights, they don't get paid as a man does. Can you tell us what is missing over here? Because this, to me, is very important to know, and hopefully, things can change and improve more better for all of you.
Well, it's a team effort. I think there's more mentalities that need to transition over into believing in women, such as yourself, such as my promoter, Lee DeBella. He'll be the first one to tell you that he didn't believe in women's boxing and he didn't support it. But he had such a change of heart when he started to see us perform. And he's like, he wants to see equal pay, equal opportunity. He wants to create a platform for us. So if we can have more promoters and more networks to start thinking that the way you men think, it will come together, because it's going to take a team effort. It's going to take us to unite and come together. It's not about, women being better than men or men being better than women, but us being equal, us coming together, being in unity, working together, and elevating each other, and gaining the same recognition, respect, the same pay, the same opportunity. We need the mentalities to come together and all start to think the same, so we can work towards the same goals and opportunities.
Sure, of course, I want to see better things coming for all of you, because at the same time, I can tell that every boxer, it doesn't matter if it is men or women, all of you risk your life. God forbid if it's something happened to, let's say an example, and I don't want to say names, to a female fighter, right? And she has to go to the hospital and get checked and all these things. And God forbid if something comes wrong, who pays that? That's one of the things that I feel like women's boxing needs to be more. It needs to get more support, and of course more value for all of you.
Yeah, and definitely, even just besides the medical, and God forbid something was wrong. I mean, it depends on who you're fighting with or what card you're on. There is sometimes there's fight insurance that will be available to us, even if we're female. But just overall, for instance, when I fought on Showtime, and I fought Ian Celarus, my promoter said that was an amazing fight. That was like the best fight of the night, and what you girls got paid was nowhere near what that action was worth, what that talent was worth. We should have been paid more, and there should be bigger budgets when we're fighting on Showtime or HBO or pay-per-view or stuff like that. And it's collective. It's promoter, it's network, it's ticket sales, it's those people investing in women and taking a chance by putting us on and giving us what we deserve, or at least closer to what we deserve. That status at the bottom of the barrel. And it's a collective effort. So really, at the end of the day, like I said before, these mentalities need to meet, and they need to work together for the same result. And that's really what it's going to take for there to years ago, I have a client right now. I train her. I think she's about 60 years old. But when she was in her prime, she was in her 20s. She told me the story that she went to Gleason's and she wanted to box. They wouldn't let her in. They wouldn't even let her train. They wouldn't even let her enter the gym because she was a woman. So we can't. So there's, and she's extremely strong. She's an athlete. I mean, for 60 years old, she could kick somebody's butt. So she probably would have been a professional fighter given the opportunity to be able to do that at her age. Right now, I have a 7-year-old girl that I train. She's young. She takes it very serious. And she has a possibility, if she continues this, she'll be the next champion. And her generation will hopefully have that equal opportunity, equal pay, and all that. So, like, you know, there's been many trailblazers along the years, and I'm definitely one of them. I think that woman that I train at 60 years old is one of them. I think just by her knocking on the door and saying, I want to come in, I want to enter, I want to fight, letting that voice be heard, we plan to see. So when my generation comes, now we're in there, now we're fighting. So when the next generation comes, because they hear what we have to say, for equals, they're going to get even more. So, you know, I hope I can see, I have seen some of it, I have reached some of the benefits of like raising up and speaking out on these issues and putting my foot down. Not what I want to see, but I have seen some change and some movement from being determined to see that change. I just hope that within the next levels and years of my life that I have to offer the sport, that I will see more. I will see more before I'm ready to hang up my gloves. And definitely even more for the next woman to come.
Sure. I mean, hopefully all these things that we mentioned happen because for all of you, I think you ladies deserve that. Because, hey, now you're going to be a mom. You have, eventually, you're not quitting boxing. You have to go and do the same work or even harder like a man. Come back home, do your duties at home, and doing all the things like Wonder Woman. And the sacrifice is big. So I always think that...
Yes, the sacrifice is huge. And what you're saying right now, it's so true. Like, I am at an elite level. I have fought some of the great, and I believe that I am in a position where I can continue to fight the other greats that are out there. It is that even pay opportunity. Like now that I am a mother, like because I've always had to work. Like mostly 99.9% of us female fighters have to work a full-time job and get ready for a big fight. And it's going to be even harder for me now because I am a mother, because I have this responsibility of a daughter, and I have to make sure she's taken care of. And that's going to take a lot. That's going to take a lot of effort physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. So yeah, if I was doing what these men do and doing what these top elite athletes do, and then having a budget for training camps and being paid to train and all that, or making a big enough purse for when the next fight comes, they have a nest egg where they can financially afford to put the money into their training and their camps and what they need. That's what we're missing as women. And that's something that I hope to God I will see within the next few years of my career.
Sure, definitely. I'm willing to see better things work for all of you. And, you know, I feel like promoters and managers, all of them, hopefully they gather together and they think about, like, you ladies go out there, expose yourself, and of course take the same risk as a man, and they need to value all of you. I'm not talking about here only from one person in particular, but I'm talking about general boxing, women's boxing, because all of you deserve that. And hopefully I can see these things in the future happen. And of course we want to see you coming back, you know, to boxing, especially because right now you're gonna be a mom. Congrats. And what's the plan that you with all due respect to you, after you giving birth, the baby's here, what weight class you want to stay? What's more comfortable for you?
Well, I did speak to my promoter actually yesterday, and we were discussing it, And what he wants me to do is to come back at 160 and then go back down to my most comfortable weight where I feel the strongest and the fastest at 154. So, we were fighting at 168 for a couple of years and we were successful, but we did start at super welterweight. I started at 154. I did a couple fights at 160. Opportunities were there. Then there was opportunities at 168. I never really wanted to go up that heavy, but I did and we did well. But the goal is for me, and I always told them I want to go back down. I want to go back down. I feel better. And even my team says I look better. I look stronger. I look faster. At 154, I'm a solid, strong 154. 168, I feel a little bit too heavy for myself. I don't feel like sharp. I can hold my own. I can do well, but I know for me personally, I am back at 154, and the plan is right now get the baby weight off, get down to 160, work my way back down to 154, and fight at those two weight classes.
Great. I mean, we want to see the best of you. Of course, it would take a little bit time because I know you have to prepare, you have to change a few things in your life because, hey, a baby's coming. And of course, you have to dedicate the time. Alicia, before we wrap it up this interview, I know you have a upcoming program, right? Like talk boxing with baby, something like that. Could you tell us? Could you give us a little preview what's gonna be in that show?
Well, I love broadcasting. I love speaking to the fighters. I love interviewing. So what I wanted to do was, especially becoming a mother, I think it's really important to highlight what these other champions that are mothers have went through. I think it would help a lot of women out there, whether they're fighters or they're not fighters, understand the journey, that they're not alone. I really want to talk about the realness of what we go through as women, approaching pregnancy, and especially an athlete's point of view, a champion's point of view. There's a lot of things physically and mentally that we're going to go through that I want to touch on, and I think it would really help a lot of women. So my first guest is going to be Heather Hardy this Sunday. Heather's a mom. She's been a mother basically throughout her whole career. She was a young mom. The next guest I'm going to have the following Sunday is going to be Lisa Rodriguez. She's, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Amateur champion. She competes with the Olympic team of Puerto Rico. She is also a young mother. And then we have Mary McGee that I have on the 21st, the last Sunday, because I think that week after that I'm going to be giving birth. If not, the baby comes sooner. But Mary has came back stronger physically, mentally after having her baby. So I wanted to find the odds that pregnancy and birth doesn't mean that your life is over. It doesn't mean that you can get back to where you were. If anything, it means that you can get back to an even better place physically and mentally. So I want to really touch on those things to enlighten and inspire a lot of women out there that are on the journey of motherhood or already on it.
That's great. I don't want to miss your show where exactly many professional boxers they're gonna be there talking about these interesting topics because hey, there's gonna be out there somebody that this is gonna work for for someone, whether it's an advice, whether it's something that they need to learn from, especially you and everybody else that is going to be in this show. And I invite and encourage everyone who loves boxing to stay tuned. Check on Alicia and Instagram. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you are on Facebook too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, you'll see me on there. Alicia Napoleon Espinosa.
Great. What's the last message that you would like to give our over here in this interview? Because I know we want to hear news, especially we will stay tuned. But what's a message that you would like to give to fight fans over here, especially right now during these times? Everybody's struggling, everybody's facing hardships. What kind of message would you like to give?
Well, just overall for people in general, just stand your ground and continue to fight. Don't give up. It's very hard for a lot of us right now, emotionally, losing a lot of people we love. I think everybody has lost somebody to this virus, financially, losing jobs, being really fearful of how to, maintain our households and our lifestyles. And there's been a lot of changes. So I just want to encourage everybody that transition into something great is always painful. And I think as a country, as a world, we're going through a transitional period where we're about to see greatness come eventually. We just have to endure the fight. We have to endure the process. And it's just like turning hand. Before our hand is raised and we get that victory, we have to suffer. We have to give something up. We have to go through a hustle and a grind and a moment of adversity. But that just means our blessing is on the way. So I just want to encourage everybody during this time to just stay strong, stand your ground, and continue to fight. And I just want to thank everybody that supports women's boxing and supports boxing overall, because we want to keep the sport alive. Just thank you. Thank you for your support and being a loyal fan. And if you're not a fan of women's boxing, I hope hearing me speak and seeing me fight another women's fight, we can change your heart and we can gain your respect and your support, because at the end of the day, we're all athletes.
Oh yes, definitely. My pleasure to support all of you. And eventually, as you mentioned, if you're not watching boxing, I invite people to, whenever you have a fight, of course you have to come back from, doing your life as a mom. I invite everyone to come and see you fighting, because hey, they don't want to miss your fight, because I've been there and it's so exciting how you perform, and of course the other opponent. And like I always say, boxing needs this kind of events, and hopefully people can come and support, and of course things change for all of you. Alicia, thanks for your time, and I appreciate, and always sending you hugs and love, because eventually, congrats, you are a mom already. So guys, stay tuned. Alicia Napoleon with us. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Chris.
You're welcome.